That was a extremely fake throat clearing. There's not Tetris. Yeah, where is it? Come on, wake up. Oh, it was minimized. Oh, where is it? There it is. Okay. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good day, or good night. Welcome, comrades, to another episode of Under Construction. I know we've been on a bit of a hiatus. I had events come up on Thursdays. Yes, my love. Just watching me. All right. Standing there menacingly. That's never mind. Uh, but of course, I'll get us started off with customary not Tetris. Some stuff come up on Thursdays, and I wasn't sure if we were gonna have one tonight, and I figured that it's better to do this than to not. If the choices are just sit around the house or work on the route, I think working on the route is better. It's productive, it's engaging, lets me talk to people in the chat, all that jazz. So if and when you come around, welcome. We're gonna have a normal evening. Oh. Okay, there we go. Let's put this over here. I said we have a normal evening. Of course, I've already jinxed us. There's going to be something cursed happen. The game is going to crash for the first time in months on us. You know, something. But I hope everyone is having a good Thursday or whatever day of the week it is when you watch this. For those who don't know why we're here, I'm working on a very large Trainz route. But this is the stream is about to start time. Because the stream is about to start. There we go. That's 2 lines done. Oh, there's another one. Drop that down there. Okay, this needs to go over here. Yeah, I'm going to do my best to have a normal episode of Under Construction. I don't really have a plan today. I think that ultimately, I'm just going to keep working on the scenery that we've been working on. We've got plenty of that to do. Some residential stuff. Shoring up the area in between the sort of current end of scenery and Derry, I guess. The old town there. Let's put that. Oh. Hey DT, I am back. I couldn't even tell you why I wasn't here for 2 weeks. I don't remember. Gloria probably remembers more than I do. There were just a couple things that came up on Thursdays that kept me out of the game. One of them was Halloween. That's right. One of them. So we took Gloria's little sister trick or treating. She is 10, and her father said that's too old, and we said, poppycock, put on a costume and we're gonna go walk around and get free candy, because you're never too old to walk around and get free candy. I think. I got some. I didn't do any knocking on doors, but I did get some candy out of it. You know, I can't fault for that. It's crazy how Halloween feels like a million years ago. Good evening. Alright, let's put this right there. We're doing pretty well for a game that I haven't played in the better part of a month. Let's put that right there. We have a pretty solid line of stuff along the bottom of this, and I don't really know what to do next. And leaving open spaces is not good. That is as good as I could do with that piece. Oh, I think maybe if I flipped it upside down. Alright, we get 3 long ones in a row. What can we do here? 1,600 points. Not great. I should be keeping tabs on, because I don't know what causes the level increase. I assume it's just time, right? I don't know any of the mechanics of this game. This is something. This is a game that I've played, you know, every week for years, just about. Just about every week for years. And I know very few of the mechanics. Like, I don't know what goes on. I only recently realized that, oh, if you do more rows at a time, it gives you more per row. I understand that that's a very basic Tetris thing, but we're not, you know, I'm not a real big person on Tetris. Um, so I just don't know. I didn't know. I don't know the basics. I don't know the basics of the game this came from. This is like, you know, it's like playing like Tekkit without ever playing Minecraft before. It is this game-changing thing where everything is familiar but different, and I'm not, you know, feel like I should have base knowledge here. There should be a disclaimer like you should be good at Tetris before playing this game. Um, in the rules for Loco Dome, there's a note about you should be familiar with locomotive verses before playing Loco Dome. It's like, yeah, because you need that like institutional knowledge, or the game is going to last 6 hours. Um, okay, that goes there. Oh, I really wanted to get that up there, and I failed. I fumbled it. All right, this might be the end. Oh, I should have saved that. Okay. No, 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 no. All right, this is the end. 2,500 points is not where I wanted to end this today, but alas. A repurposed mining dump truck that now moves rail cars in Rapid City. I am surprised there isn't more of the, like, bootleg car mover stuff out there. I saw a picture earlier today of like a van that they had fitted, you know, train wheels onto. Hold on, let me, uh, there we go. And let me drop the route building stream into there. Sailing sucks. I don't know, Dean, you should probably get good. People are pretty good at sailing. Okay. I downloaded a whole bunch of stuff after the last episode, like between last episode and this episode, and I cannot remember what it was. Just that I downloaded a bunch of stuff. I downloaded a bunch of houses and things, and I don't even remember, you know, I wish I could sort by new, right? Um, let's just, well, let's swap this to change pick list to default, and then house. Let's see. This is a cool warehouse. I may can't watch the live, but I can still listen to it. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here listening. I'll try to keep up the chatter so the listening is interesting on its own. I'd like to think that I can yammer with the best of them. Alright, these guys, these houses are good for, like, the 3-deckers over there. I was trying to find things that would be similar to 3-deckers. That's kind of what my aim was. I wanted, like, some 3-family homes and stuff like that. And I know a lot of those are sort of originally Victorian houses that get broken up and repurposed. I mean, this one is not bad, this tenement house. This would not really fly in a cold climate because you don't have a peaked roof on it. But I guess these Boston 3-deckers, they don't have peaked roofs either. So, you know, I don't know what I'm saying then. But stuff like this, that's sort of what I'm aiming for. I mean, this alley through the back here between all these houses, it's samey and repetitive, but that's sort of exactly what I'm trying to create. Um, these would have been company housing. Um, they would have just all gone up together for increased density near the mills and things. And now on this stretch there aren't any very large mills, but that doesn't mean there weren't ever very large mills. And maybe I could, maybe I should put something here to, sort of underscore that there was a larger building here, but I'm not really sure how I should go about that. Part of me wants to like put in a retaining wall or something like this, but over here. Okay, we've got some ranch houses too. Quonset huts. And then a bunch of old warehouses. I think I downloaded all these SAP. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. The Victorian houses are sort of something that I'm aiming for. You know, uh, through this, in this like last block. Hello, Mopac. In this last block here, we can get some Victorian era houses that aren't exactly what I'm looking for, but that are still the right vibe, I guess. Because these are quite nice. They're a little drab, they're all gray, and what's funny about that is it almost makes me want to like click on them and imagine there's like a recolor palette up here, Uh like these houses are begging to give me a color slider. And we've got this. This is a little bit larger. Sorry about that. You're gonna watch me do that quite a bit. The factory has been growing, so I've been sleeping a lot less. Astoundingly, that has not been what's held up under construction. The need to grow the factory, but you always have to grow the factory. Okay, so here's a really nice one that I'll put over here, and maybe even this should be sort of on its own lot that gets this whole corner. The thing that kills me is these are all the same color. These are all the exact same gray. Like, give me something other than this. Give me, what is that? What is... Why does this have a thing on the side of it? There are no windows on this side of the building. And there's like a giant, like I'm picturing effing shoot, what's his name? Uh Gru from Despicable Me driving his stupid car out of this entryway here. Um but yeah, I'll put this guy in the middle. Do I know any good logging industry assets? That's a good question. So, not that I've used, because I haven't really done much in the way of logging industry. However, um, if I just look at what I have for log, right? Um, you get stuff like this, which I assume would be pulling logs out of a body of water, right? Maybe, maybe not. Or, I mean, you could put anything here. It could be a body of water, it could be a trailer, it could be a railroad track. Honestly, this might work as a log loader just as well as it works as a log unloader, um, even if it might be a bit overkill. You've got this, which is a very, very old school log asset. Um, This, I remember this. This is a lake. Like you put this above a lake, right? Um, and then let's see. I mean, there's a lot of like, there's a lot of other stuff. There's this, which is the same thing as that, although it's a different color. It's got a different sign on it. It's been retextured, and you have the logs all around it, and it is just an industry. So that's kind of cool. That's helpful. Um, and those two say they're animated. There's another crane. If you're not sure what something is, you can see the QID down at the bottom right here. Log stack depot. Unload and load. Okay, so this would be for a log transfer from say narrow to standard gauge. That's interesting. Um, and that one says built-in log, so this I would imagine uses. Okay, so some sort of some log commodity that is proprietary. Lots of cabins. This, which looks like it's just out of spin tires. Midwest paper products. Holy moly. Some claws. Lumber mill type buildings. Okay. Let me just look at these. So we got another little. This is a cool little freight house, honestly. Tracks on this side, I would imagine. Yeah. Lumber mill stuff. Let's see what I have for lumber mill. So we've got this one. I've used this before. This is a nice building. I can say that much. It's a very nice building. It's very cool. Obviously, it doesn't have any industry tracks, and it also has this office that goes with it. Lumber trailer. There's a little sawmill. Like this is a small sawmill. It's interesting that these are rolling that way. Oh, I guess they'd be being winched up the hill. Furniture factory. I guess that's that kind of thing. Let me. Is there any other? I mean, I have some lumber supply stuff. This looks like it'd be a piece of the mill and railroader. A lot of these are just stacks of lumber, Lumber mill tower, which I think this is from like the built-in lumber mill. It's also boarded up by the looks of it. Maybe they just didn't want to do glass. Maybe that is, yeah, that's some rough glass if that's glass. A bunch of sheds. Your good old-fashioned built-in lumber mill. Lumber loader. Not sure why you would really need this. You could, I mean, I guess it's just made for you, right? Lots of lumber receivers. And then T thing. So yeah, we've got a lumber yard building. Okay, that's not exciting. But these two are the lumber things. But anyway, Orion buying 5 locomotives in N scale. Very cool. And working on your Rapid City route. That's cool. I like looking at a specific area and translating it like verbatim. I've talked about in the past. If I were to ever let go of this project, right? If I ever were to move on from Tolbrand, what I would probably try to do to be just as ambitious is to, build the Earth, right? Or build the U.S. or build, an area, a real area, and then go from there. Do I know any modular roundhouses that can go without a turntable? I don't know of any modular ones. I mean, all of the other ones, any roundhouse can go without a turntable. Finding a two-stall roundhouse, I wonder if you're better off just finding a shed, you know? If you're better off finding a shed and you know, not building that skew in. I mean, if you look for a roundhouse, well, what the hell was that? You've got this. You've got Chama. That's about it. That's not modular, but it is two stalls. Oh, it's three stalls, including that one. It's also narrow gauge, so you might not be able to fit, you know, your SD40s into it. Um, but it's not tiny, is the thing. Like this guy will fit through the door. And I know that's an RS3. It's not very large, but if we see if I can find like an SD40, SD40-2. Let's see if this hits the ceiling. Yeah, it does. Oh well. That's the difference between narrow gauge and standard gauge. That might be the closest thing you could get to what you're aiming at, because a lot of these other roundhouses are huge. I mean, this is a narrow gauge one. It's even smaller. This is the 5-stall one. I use that. This one is, I think, 3 stalls. I've used that one as well. So, you know, close, but no cigar. Yeah, you're welcome, Mopac. If nothing else, I can use my sort of wealth of things for good. You've got the Caddy Roundhouse, which is not modular and has a turntable, and has 4 stalls. So that's very not helpful. But that's what I've got for roundhouses. Other than the 120-foot roundhouse, I don't know of any modular ones. Not off the top of my head, anyway. Although this looks like it's from a modular one. I don't know what the end stalls are supposed to look like or where they are. But whatever this is from might be your best bet. Roundhouse 80T Bay Skylight. This is probably from a set of assets. I kind of wish I had spent more time doing logging stuff, but yeah, I was talking about wanting to sort of build the Earth, right? Talking about wanting to take, you know, just start in a given location, build out all the track that ever was, as close as I can get it, right? Based on maps and photos and GIS data and whatever else I can pick up. All the track that ever was. Do as much as you can, and then go from there. Something already just looks weird. Gonna get the main up to Omaha Street, divert a mile or so. Divert a mile or so with another line that should be, with a line going to the northeast out of Rapid City. Shouldn't be long. Well, I wish you luck. Doing this stuff is always, it can be a tremendous headache to figure out what went where and when. Actually, I'm going to bring this out to the street. I was thinking of making more room for driveways and things, but in this case I feel like these folks would want to have more yard to play with. This might also be a place to put in a pool. I know I put in one in a neighborhood recently, but if anyone's going to have it over here, it's probably going to be these folks. That was not here. Where was I when I put the pool in the backyard? I know I talked about, I need to get this done, is what I need to do. Well, let's just look up pool. I don't know. I need to find the exact one. Hard part is not modeling the abutment amount of abandoned tracks and spurs in the area. What steam engines do I have? I've got a lot. I've got a lot. If you want to see a nice selection, we can go over here. Look what's in the roundhouse of the Mansfield Branch Railroad. Nothing! Oh, there it is. All sorts of stuff. Most of these, I think, are subpar. Subpar models, or that one is not. For like the updated stuff. Mikados and Consolidations and 060s, and I think there's one Atlantic in here. Is this the Atlantic? This is a big 10-wheeler. Oh, this is like a D10. I think it's a D10. I got the Light Pacific. I didn't get yeah, this is a D10. I didn't get a didn't get an Atlantic. Is the Ingalls thing canon to Tolbrand? In some manner, yes. It will have to be. It will belong to, like, I didn't put it here just for fun. It will belong to the Mansfield Branch Railroad. It's their only mainline diesel. Because they almost exclusively get things secondhand because, you know, money. That's going to be a... The Ingalls thing is going to be a, you know, a sort of experiment that either they got it secondhand after it went somewhere else and was a failure, or they bought it new as a, hey, look at this, like, really cheap diesel on the market. We said we wanted to get a diesel, we should get one. You know? It's going to be one of those two situations. I haven't decided on what yet. Honestly, it's not important unless or slash until I sit down to write the history of the Mansfield Branch Railroad. We do have F units already, not any that are set out anywhere. But when I go to properly seed the route, we'll have plenty of other contemporary power like Fs and Es and you know, different Alcos, probably some Baldwins, some FMs. It just depends on what I can get my hands on in terms of getting into the game. I mean, a long time ago, I made a roster for all the different railroads, and I still pretty much intend to stick by that because there's not really a reason for me not to. I put in a lot of work to setting up that roster and figuring out what roads would be Alco roads and who would be buying Baldwins, who would be buying EMDs. The Missouri Southern did that when they bought their 1700 Plymouth. They liked it so much that they retired all their steam power within a year. Damn. These guys are definitely going to have like a brick wall around their house or something. Like something really nice. Let's just go with brick. Yeah, the 8-foot brick. The year was 1934. Oh my god. That is like some immediate changeover. I mean, the Missouri Southern was not a particularly large railroad, right? They were pretty small. I mean, they could get away with switching to all diesel power in that era, but even still, like, damn, you know. That's how I feel about it. Just damn. Let's put this. Whoops. Come on. There we go. Just gotta hold shift. Remember to hold shift. One diesel and one gas doodlebug. Yeah, and yeah, that's also an era where you no longer need to have the dedicated steam power for the passenger trains. It's like, okay, well, what if we just had what if we had a rail car of some description? You know, that's fairly common, I feel like. I think the Narragansett Pier Railroad has a similar story, even. Oh, come on, grab either of them. There we go. Let's say grab the right one. I couldn't grab either of them. This would probably be easier to do in Surveyor too, because you can see what you're reaching for. I don't know what. You know, it's funny to think about, like the spline points and the way that you grab them. It's been the same for, you know, nearly. It had been the same for almost 20 years, right? It had been the same way since, you know, the original Trainz, or the original Trainz with Surveyor, right, which was '04, right, or either '04 or '06 or, you know, something in there. Um, I don't remember if the original Trainz had Surveyor. It may well have done. Um, I started with '06, and it seemed like they were billing it as a new thing for '06. But I know that it predates it at least a little bit. Um, what diesel locomotive are you using for the freight yard? The Mansfield Branch Railroad doesn't have a diesel switcher. It just has a pair of 060s that live down here. There's a Fairbanks Moore something or other in Olive, and there's also, I believe, an NW2 there. But also, I mean, think this is the budding era of the road switcher. There are plenty of locomotives that can do both, that will do both. Um, so BNSF has, I would imagine BNSF has many switcher locomotives, many different kinds, different. All right, let's see. I want to find some nice hedges. This is what we use for the hedge maze. It looks like hell from above. I mean, I don't want to look at it from above, but hell if I get. But it looks like hell from above. Alright, let's put this over here. Okay, let's go down. Let's box this whole thing in. I'm trying to keep a house that's kind of spooky here. And I'm even thinking, like, if I move the Ecto 1 to there, and I do one of these driveways that sort of loops through, you know? The driveways where you drive by a house with one of these driveways, a house that you could never afford, and they've got a sign out front that says, "No turning in driveway." And I wonder how much it's really bothering those people. You know? I'm not saying that I am entitled to use someone else's driveway. I just really wonder how far you have to go before you run into the situation. Like, what compelled them to put it up? What made them go, we need to stop this. We need to stop these people from turning around in our driveway. I can't take it anymore. Who thinks like that? Who gets that pent up over someone driving on your asphalt? Unless it's like semi-trucks turning 24 hours a day. I live on a dead-end street. No one here has the luxury of not having their driveway used for cars that are turning around. Everyone gets turned around in their driveway. Everyone gets turned around in everyone's driveway. Whatever one is most convenient. Let's do that. Yeah. Should I actually put in, like, let's go all out with the hedges here. I mean, if somebody like crashes into your house when they're turning in your driveway, okay, I get it. Like, I get it. But that doesn't happen all the time. You know, being overly cautious, well, no, you can't, you know, can't pull in my driveway. Because I'm afraid you will immediately, as soon as you cross that threshold as soon as you cross that curb line from the main road into my yard, you will forget how to drive. You will no longer be in control of your facilities. You will come crashing through the wall of my house. Honestly, I think someone who's going to come crashing through the wall of somebody's house is not going to be deterred by that sign. Not even saying like the mentality, right? I'm not even saying the mentality of someone who believes they are entitled to your driveway no matter what a sign says. That's what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that most people that are going to come crashing through your wall are not going to do it when they're trying to turn around in your driveway. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have been in a driveway accident that was my fault. I, you know, I understand that sometimes you get in a situation and you do the wrong thing and you panic and you make it worse and you just, you know, which I'm not saying that I went through the wall of anything, but I am saying that, people, when you mess up in a car, particularly in my case and in a lot of cases, many such cases, when you step on the gas instead of the brake, your instinct will be screaming at you immediately, especially if you drive a lot. Your instinct will be screaming at you immediately. It will say, step on the brakes. But if you're already stepping on the brakes, at least as far as you're aware, if you're already stepping on the brakes, your instinct screaming step on the brakes, what it's actually saying is step harder. You're not stopping, you're not pressing on the brakes hard enough. And because that's the thing that's burned into your main. That's the thing that's burned into your brain, right? That is how you're wired. It is, I'm stepping on the brake. If I'm not stopping fast enough, I need to step on the brake more. And, if you're doing that when you're trying to stop, but you're not actually stepping on the brake, without taking a second to, stop and think, which you don't really have in a situation where you're panicking or where you're flying towards another vehicle or the wall of a house or whatever. I think y'all get where I'm going here. What I'm going with here. When you panic, you go on instinct, and your instinct sometimes can be very unhelpful. But in a situation, I feel like most people that end up going through the side of a house, are not, attempting to stop at that house. Not turning in the driveway, I guess. I'm imagining. I might be wrong about that. That is baseless and wild speculation. Baseless and wild speculation. Alright. Let's put this down there. I want a garage way in the back here. Yeah, folks that have the Amazon delivery driver turning in the yard. I mean, if people on your street if you're getting enough Amazon deliveries, that the driver turning in your yard is a recurring thing. Also, I mean, in your grass, right? Amazon driver back up in their grass. And it's just, when, I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of different situations. There are a lot of different situations where you could have, a delivery driver turning around in your grass. I'm thinking, I'm on a suburban street. We've got curb, we've got sidewalk. For someone to drive onto my lawn would take quite a bit of effort. That's not the same everywhere. In fact, a couple of my cousins' houses they encourage us, just park in the grass. Like, there is enough space in the driveway, park in the grass. But as someone who drives through people's yards on a daily basis, I ask first. And that's like, okay, yeah, but driving over somebody's grass, driving over someone's lawn, like manicured lawn, is a little different than turning around in their asphalt, concrete driveway. Like you can F up somebody's lawn real bad, by turning around in it, in a vehicle that it's not, prepared for. If it's a little bit muddy, or if it's a little bit wet out, and the ground's a little bit wet, if it's, if it's, what's the word? If it's not, frozen over, right? You can mess up somebody's grass pretty bad. I'm not advocating for people to drive over folks' lawns. I mean, I'm really not advocating for anything here. I'm just wondering what drives people to get, annoyed enough about people turning in their driveway, not on their lawn, in their driveway, to put up a sign. It's a blemish. It's a blemish. You have something in your front lawn that says no turning in driveway. How artsy are you going to make that? How nice are you going to make that look? Because I think I think it won't look good. No matter what you do, I think it's not going to look good. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know how to finish this lawn here, so I'm going to do some texturing instead. Let's use some like really really scrungly grass for this place. This is the haunted house. This is the Casper house, right? This is the house at the beginning of Casper that Ray Stantz comes running out of and says, "Call someone else." You know, that's totally canon of the Ghostbusters universe, by the way. I love that. It's got to be. Maybe use a nice font like Comic Sans. Oh God, now I want to see the most hideous like "Don't turn around in my lawn" sign. It needs to. I think the thing that would sell it to me the most, or like really make me go like, "Oh my God," is if it was super duper serious or like over the top, like Judge Dredd looking, Punisher skull. Don't turn around in my lawn, like the alpha male. Don't turn around in my driveway sign. You know that would crack me up. Or even better, put it in one of those fonts that like death metal bands use for their logos. That is just utterly incomprehensible. That leads me to another question. Um, that leads me to another question, which is, how legible do you have to make a do not have to make a no trespassing sign? I mean, I understand that no trespassing signs aren't really. Ooh, the Adams house. That's perfect. Uh, so it's where the wheels are going to be sitting. Yeah, no, I too have a strip of grass on the other side of my driveway that gets absolutely no love. Uh, the Adams house is so great, so perfect. Um, of a name. Okay, let's fill this in here. We'll just do that in the front. We'll just leave that like a unmanicured, dirty grass. Oh, and these guys need driveways too. I'll make this one shorter than that one because they're not going to be the same length. Should I give one of these guys a garage? Yeah, let's give somebody a garage. Okay. I needed to be a relatively new garage. I kind of wanted to offset the age of these houses. As in, somebody living here just decided they needed a garage, like long after the house was built. Jointed rail garage. Um, as long as it's purple, I think a no trespass sign can be as illegible as you want. As long as it's purple. Never heard about it being purple. I mean, I, I, like genuinely speaking, right? I don't. I think like a no trespassing sign. I wonder, like legally speaking, how defined you need your property boundaries to be. I mean, as good as possible, right? As if you don't want people coming into your property, you need to set up something that defines it in a way that is clear to people, so that because if it goes to court and it's like, well, how were they supposed to know they were on your property? It's like, okay, fair. I if there's nothing that tells someone they're trespassing, how are they supposed to know they're trespassing? Or at least you'd think that might hold up in a court of law. Um, but like, where is the line? And I suppose it's different for per jury, right? Um, but lots of people spray some purple paint on trees along their property line. I've never seen that before. That must be something that we don't do out here. Well, I suppose I haven't been in the area of the state where you'd have enough trees to spray a property line on them. Uh, that's like way out there in Foster, Gloucester, whatever. But I've, you know, I've never heard of that practice. But that's why I'm asking this, because I feel like um, you can get a lot of different perspectives on this sort of thing. Um, I need like a big garage, like an actual good-looking one, though. Sorry. Fire station garage. Hmm. I want like like a carriage house, right? That's what I was hoping to find in this big list of garages. But at least I can just do this over here, and then add some road segments towards it. But yeah, different perspectives on these things that come from the sort of different circumstances, right? I've never heard of spray painting trees purple, um, but I've never known anyone who would have to do that, or well, I've never been familiar enough with anyone's property of someone that would be able to do that. I should say, not even have to. Have to is the wrong word. Um, so, is there water in here? Not much. That's unfortunate. Oh, I got pinged. Oh, the Adams house. Yeah, that looks about right. That's very cool. I like that a lot. Um, okay. Yeah, I mean the other kicker is that I'm from I'm from an area, like literal local area, small area, where it is. Hold on, row house spline, suburban house spline. Okay, yeah, that's something. Hmm. That's interesting. I mean, I'm not sure we could get away with that, but there's quite a few of these house splines, and honestly, they're not wrong for what they are. I mean, a lot of these are English. Deleted. Why are these deleted? What happened to them? Why have they been deleted? I don't know why you would need this as a spline, but yeah, sure. You get a lot of these splines. I don't know where they came from. I've never really used a building spline before. And honestly, we could get away with some of these. These could go over. And I'm getting distracted, but that's okay. We've got work to do. These could go over here even, down some of these streets, because once you get away from the three-deckers, you're going to have the smaller stuff. And that smaller stuff is going to look sort of like this. And I might even need to bring these roads closer together. I mean, look at the size of those blocks. Straighten that out. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at these houses. I mean, you can't do the whole street like this, right? You can't do the whole street like this because it doesn't look right. But if you look at these houses and you look at the street, I think an important takeaway here is the fact that oh shoot. An important takeaway here is the fact that this whoa, is this block is way too wide. I'm gonna need to add a street in the middle of this, probably in the middle of this, or maybe even break this up and skip this over here and that over here. Yeah, Gilson City suburbs. Yeah, something like that. I mean, a lot of I haven't settled on exactly the vibes for Gilson City, but it's gonna be something like this. Um, yeah, I think I think this space, but I really don't know what to put in here. Probably a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you know, a little bit of suburban and a little bit of, uh, you know, more of these or this or something like that. A lot of my blocks are too darn big. I mean, look at the size. Look at the space in between these. That's 300 feet. I mean, I think I've done worse, but I might need to adjust those. Because if we look at these, this is like 350. And that's way too big for the double row houses. If we were to do some more regular stuff, then maybe this would be a lot better. But as of right now, I think we need to either tighten these blocks up or find smaller blocks like these. Like if we look at this, oh, I'm not incompatible spline. Even then, these are just relatively small houses. At least these, without the thing, we could hypothetically take these and put them like this, just set back a ways from the road. But why would you do that? You know, this is all my blocks are too big. I'm gonna have to come through and I'm gonna have to make smaller blocks. I think these are gonna need some adjustment too. I'd like to not redo ones where we've already done the intersections, so maybe I shouldn't have done the intersections until we had figured out what was going inside the blocks. But terrace house. Oh, okay, that's that. I thought I saw not that row house spline. I thought I saw a different one. Maybe I was looking at the brick one. Hmm. Brown row house. No, it's that same kind of row house. I think it might have been those that I was looking at. Yeah, because then there's nothing else here. It's just those. Maybe some of these blocks can be British. It's a question of how to fill these areas in. Hmm. I really do like this square here. So this all needs to stay. This, though, the 300 feet, I wonder what it would look like if we did 200-foot blocks, maybe. Because 300 feet and then another 300 feet. Not for this. Like, I'll keep that road where it is. Yeah, it's 300 feet. What if we snap that in half? Hmm. If we snap this in half, if we make this road into two roads and we have a pair of 200-foot blocks instead of, or sorry, three 200-foot blocks instead of two 300-foot blocks, and we just make a T intersection here, and then we, I don't know, do something with this, I guess. I don't know what to do with this large triangular block. Um, but, okay, let's see. I'm not mentally prepared to go on another trip. Like, I know everybody looks forward to vacation, but, like, I'm not mentally prepared to go on another trip. I'm going away this coming weekend, the long weekend. I'm going to see a football game in DC. And I am honestly, like, dreading it is not the right word because damn do I and everyone else need a vacation. But I just want to stay home and lay down instead, you know? Uh, I just want to lay in bed. I want a staycation. Real bad. Alright, let's see if I can... So I really thought these splines would be useful for doing the corners. But because they don't really want to jive in the corners, I guess I can't do that. I'll need to do the corners individually because, I mean, the fact that the houses get all scrunched and that there are no compatible splines, right? Like if I no, not compatible. Not compatible. Not compatible. I need to find like something that's compatible that's invisible, right? But I don't know what it'll let me. Nothing. It's all roads, and I can't connect roads to that kind of spline. I'm wondering if I could get away with it in Surveyor 2, though. No, because I can't even see the spline point on that. Although if it shows up as I click through any of these... How do I get track that's conforming to terrain to not to? You use the tool that you use to adjust the end of the spline point height. I don't know what it's called off the top of my head. Just want to see that dot up here. I mean, I doubt it will, but, you know, trying. And, like, the one or two that I miss, I don't think is going to be the end of the world. Nah. Yeah, no, I can't... there are a lot of things that you can sort of cheat around using Surveyor 2. This apparently is not one of them. I can just sort of leave that there. Worst case Ontario, I can just leave. Oops. I can just leave this here as long as I can get that sidewalk to contact that. Hmm. And then, you know what, I'll just, I mean, I have this thing hanging around here, why don't I just use it, right? I'll just put this thing sort of looks like a crab. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but that's just what comes out to me. Um, Someone's got that different house at the end of the road. Um, and yeah, no, I should break this intersection. I should scoot this over by 100 feet, scoot it over the other direction by 100 feet, and then we can make suburbs that sort of look right, I guess. I don't know. The problem is, if I use these, the yards are still a little weird. Welcome, Pat. Good to see you. It has been too long. But I was busy, and now the show must go on. Okay. How do I break this up? Part of me just says do that, but how would you... Okay, so let me think about this sort of from the top, from the beginning, right? Like this road was never really a hugely major street because of because the road originally went that way. Um, so we get some commercial development and stuff. We don't have a ton of stuff going on over here. Um, this is a relatively new building, or a very new building, really. Um, and so you have this, you know, this, there was probably another mill over here on the corner. Um, and that's, that, you know, I talked about going from the beginning, and I talked about, oh, I should find a way to sort of show that there was a building here. Um, and you know what? Maybe I'll just do it in my favorite way to show that there was a building here. Take a stone wall and sink it into the ground as the edge of the foundation. And I'll just do sort of one wall here to show that there was something here. Trying to figure out how to make cuts and fills without surveyor moving an unreasonable amount of terrain. Yeah, I know, that's hard. Um, Fills, you can get away with a lot more easily than cuts. Because you can find some track splines with embankments. And that's sort of my only thing that I can say on the subject. Because cuts and fills are so important. Cuts and fills are, you know, they're something that makes a railroad seem real. I mean, there are an awful lot of routes where the track is always sat on the ground. And that's, yeah, HD terrain is something that I would be hesitant, that I'm hesitant around. Um, you can get away with track that's sitting on the ground for most of the time, but the thing is, and this helps Trainz routes feel real, is that your landscape is subtly changing all the time. This is a cut. If we go a little bit further, after we cross over the river, it'll turn into a fill, if I remember right. Yeah. And this is the track and the ground gradually diverging, which is something that is extremely common in reality. Something that is very, very, like, real. Sorry about that. My slippers that I stole from Gloria were being uncomfortable. Um, And this is part of the reason why I like to do the terrain first, because if we go up here, this is, sort of the most dramatic place for it. Um, I made the terrain, and then I tried to figure out how to get track through it. And as a result, you have a lot of cuts and a lot of fills, and a lot of this sort of hugging an elevation line, which, you could build this from scratch, but you're not going to get quite the same thing, because before this, pre-railroad, right, this was one contiguous slope, and now the railroad cuts into it like this. When you build the track first, do I have the out-of-service signals and crosswalks from the back shops? I don't think so, because if they're not in the DLS, then I don't have them. People are tempted, and I say people are tempted, this isn't me looking down on anybody. I did this a lot while building the TV and ARR. Your railroad track is almost never going to be at an inflection point. And by that I mean, it is almost never going to be at the point where the slope changes. It's going to be weaving its way through a pre-existing slope or set of slopes. And the most convenient path for the railroad will rarely be always on the ground. So you're going to have a lot of cuts and a lot of fills. That's the nature of building right-of-way for anything. And the Volga Mountains is maybe my favorite stretch of rail on this map, because it does all of the cuts and all of the fills. I need to put a culvert here. And also, then your tunnels and bridges feel more organic too. It isn't, oh, I wanted to put a tunnel here. It is, I had to put a tunnel here. I had to put a bridge here. I had to put a bridge here. Or, tunnel and then bridge over this, which, obviously, you aren't going to get around this, right? But it feels more real this way. I figured out my terrain first, and then I figured out where I was going to put a railroad on top of it. Also helps to make sure that the terrain itself is realistic, because then it gives you the opportunity to focus on that terrain. It gives you the opportunity to focus on making that terrain realistic without being bound by the work you've already done. Terrain is the hardest thing to get right. It is by far the hardest thing to get right, and it's the thing that everything else is built upon. Literally. If you do something where you then have to change the terrain, you are possibly undoing a ton of work. And that's not something you want to have to do, right? Let's see, what should we do next? We filled in that area there. I like that. We need to do that block and that block. But also, I'll let Google tell me the terrain. Yeah. I mean, going off of real terrain is nice. It's like a cheat code in the best way, And I do this for OpenTTD. All of my OpenTTD maps, virtually all of my OpenTTD maps that I use for the server on our Discord and other, even just on my own, are made from real world height maps. Not only because it's there and it's fun, it is, it's realistic. It has intrigue. The water all flows in the right direction. The land isn't weirdly broken up by large lakes in most cases. And really that's just me highlighting where the OpenTTD terrain generator falls apart. But if you want realistic terrain, if you want real challenges, you can't beat actual real terrain that presents you with actual real challenges. It's like a cheat code in the best way. Okay. I wish it didn't make the cuts and fills wide. Yeah, no, I mean that is the problem. Let's see. I need to go back into 2.0 so I can fill in the trees and grass here. Paint. Scrapbook data. Woods. Texture, overwrite, meshes, overwrite, splines, none, effect layers, none, ground height, none. Go on, go over there. Okay. Now we're going to have to do some tree trimming. There we go. Cut that back. There we go. Alright, so. Making progress towards connecting the two sections. Now, I said I wanted to put houses here. What exactly that means, I don't know. What would be the easiest look for housing in this area? What would be the most appropriate look is really my question. Um, okay. And I do want gravel in the back here. Because it's probably not going to be row houses. It's probably going to be stuff that's, relatively speaking, modern. Even if this area is relatively old, I don't think anyone would have been living over here until the railroad came along. And we could have had something else here that has now been replaced with houses. I've gotten so granular in my route that I've been researching the types of trees and biomes in the Francis Mountains, and I love that. I genuinely love that. And that's something that I want to reach for when I'm doing this town here. And I know we pretty much already have our tree types, right? We have our maple beech birch or equivalent here at the woods. Um, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what I want throughout the entire town, or that's what I want defining the entire town. I think I'm going to step through and do some thinking about what goes where. And who might have what trees in their yard. And the more of this I get done, the more screenshots I can take without worrying about crap in the background. Like this here. Like this railroad yard on the edge of town, right? I want to be able to take a screenshot facing this way. And now, I think I can. I should just sort of work the co-loader and make things look nice. Should we nuke the AI now? I'm so hesitant to do it, but I want to do it. Should we go through and clear it out? Because I was messing with Living Railroad on one of those Thursday nights when we didn't have under construction. Because I ended up having some time in the evening. I didn't want to start making the video. I didn't want to start streaming because there was only, it was already like 9 o'clock. So I went in the Discord and I did a little, stream in the streaming and recording VC of just dicking around in with the AI, with the Living Railroad AI. Because part of me really does want to see if I can just have the industries and have the locomotives and just sort of mess around. Just hop in and out of driver and do stuff and then hop into surveyor and do more stuff. I don't know what that would screw up. I don't know. And I really don't know what kind of staging we do need for this. Now, the thing is, when I talk about nuking the AI, I'm not talking about getting rid of every line of code we've written, because if you look at edit session, right, a lot of these things work with schedule at track mark, which, yeah, we'd probably have to remove some of this except for what's in Nort staging and all the MBTC. Um, but also we have the schedule library, which all of this stuff can stay. And even if it's not perfect, we can adjust it. We can adjust it later. Um, hmm. And the interlocking session will automatically select it. That's just interlocking towers. Display and path selection dialog. If you wish to disable interface, simply move this rule. Show path activation messages in driver. Yes, please. The input table does the turntable. Wait for derailment and something wrecked. I'm going to set that. But really what we're getting rid of is the driver setup here. And like the trolleys, yeah, that's fine. Everything else, I mean, a lot of this stuff has some pretty detailed schedules. I mean, that's 20 items, and that's the most, 19 items. Okay, that's not a lot, and these guys are the ones that are out on the line. But these are setup commands. Honestly, VMR64, GER 1105, 1030, and 1999. Now, if I'm going to do anything, it should be to get the mainline trains. The stuff that's on the auto level, need to put those aside. So this guy, who is not 1999, I don't think, but one of these locomotives. A friend who works on the railroad serving Michigan, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio. That's a fun area to be railroading. So this is 1105. This is 1105. We can also then get rid of these awkward speed limits out here on the main line, because we're not going to have anything starting out here on the main line. So where would I have this? Where would I have this go? Actually, I need to, because okay, assets and timetables, locomotive roster. So this is what, 1,000 something. 1105. So GERR 1105. Scroll all the way down on my big long list of road numbers. Uh, 1105 on train 205. So here's the thing. I still want to automate. I still want to have a timetable, right? Like the intercity passenger timetable, I feel like it makes sense to have, but I'm not sure I can properly automate it. At least I'm not confident that leaving the stuff that needs to run out here on the line makes sense. But the map is so large that some of the trains are going to have to start out on the line. Or maybe I just ignore that part. Maybe I just let that go and say, okay, the trains that would have been out on the line at 5 in the morning or whatever, when the session starts, forget it. They'll show up in 24 hours. I still want to have a way, I still have concepted a way to have the passenger trains run on a general schedule, but I'm not even sure if that's the right thing to do. Hey Mason. I am worried that even that is going to be too much, right? I want to, hmm, I want to have a staging yard. I mean, I want to have a freight staging that can refill cars and stuff automatically. But I want to have a passenger staging like, not unlike what we have right now, although we will have to move it, where we don't, or where the trains will set up. Excuse me. Where the trains will set up and be ready, and then run at the prescribed times. And I think the way that I do that is I have portals generating trains randomly. Every 15 minutes or so, or half an hour or hour or whatever, um, the portal generates a train, and that train just goes to whichever is the next sort of available open slot. Although with the timer commands, it would have to be every 4 hours. See, that's a problem because if we, say we have a yard like this, or we have a separate commuter, we have a different yard for each class of mainline train. We have the express trains and we have the local trains. Just at a basic level, we'd have 2 yards. So we'd have 2 portals, one making randomized express trains and one making randomized local trains. Those trains would then pull into the, pull into the first available slot based on the, go to track mark list first available command, and so they would fill in one after the next. But if I'm using the timer command, the timer will let a train go as long as it's within 4 hours of that scheduled dispatch time. So what I mean is, if we go back into here, edit session, the schedule library, right? Northside passenger service. Oh wait, this isn't set up here. It's set up here in North Staging. This command right here, the wait until time. It will wait until this time. What's up, Chris? It will wait until this time, and then it will leave as long as it's within 4 hours of this time. So if a train is running 4 hours behind schedule, it'll still go. Right now, Chris, I'm contemplating nuking the AI so that I can mess around. And that's a weird thing to say, but like, I'm trying to figure out what'll give me the result that I'm hoping for in terms of allowing people to drive trains around, but also putting some activity on the route. Because having the fully automated railroad is not something that I think the game is capable of, certainly not in its current state. And by the time it is capable of that, we will have living railroad, and it'll be doing it without my input. So if I think about this, how do we prevent trains from, say we have a yard like this. Imagine this is just the yard for local trains. Back here there's a portal, it spits out local trains all the time. If every bay is full, it just turns around and goes into a different portal. But it spits out local trains all the time. A local train pulls up and gets orders from the track mark that say you're leaving at this time and this is your schedule and this is where you're going and this is how you're doing it. That does present problems because if not all of the passenger trains are working in sync, but honestly, I think this hybrid approach is not going to work, but bear with me. If it pulls into here, it says 9:30, and it's 9:30, it leaves. If it's 10 o'clock, it leaves. If it's 11 o'clock, it leaves. And so it's just shunting out trains one after the next. I need them to pull in, and then I think the timer needs to be 4 hours. Like, we need to push the limit of that timer. Or, more importantly, we need to have it say timer and then a 4 hour wait. No, that doesn't work either. Because it'll just be... Well, no, it will work. Because, say a train pulls in here at 9:15, the track mark tells it to leave at 9:30. The track mark gives it a set of commands that includes the wait until 9:30 and then 4 1-hour waits, so the train actually leaves at 1:30 in the afternoon. And all of that would have to be set up, so all of the timer commands would have to be set 4 hours earlier. And that means we wouldn't have any trains coming out into the main line until... You wouldn't have any trains coming out of the main line until 4 hours after you start the session, which I think is lame and sucks. But either we go full automation, which I don't think we can physically do, or we don't do any of the automation at all. This is the middle ground. This is an opportunity to create sequenced passenger trains. Are we going to have recurring run-through freights via portals? Probably not, but that is another problem. That is a very different problem, because freight trains only come out of the portal unloaded, and I can give them a load command, but I can't tell it what commodities to put in which cars. So in order to do that, you have to break the train up, load each of those cars separately with commands that do tell them what commodity to put in each car, and then put the train back together. Having a staging yard that can automatically refill cars is something that I want to do. Having recurring run-through freights might be impossible. Not impossible, just really, really difficult. What about the oil trains that go cross-map? So I think instead of all the oil because the oil refinery is going to be there in Wombeck. I mean, that stuff is possible. Like, we can bring in empties, but it feels strange to me to do all or nothing, it feels strange to me to do something other than all or nothing. When it comes to passenger trains, maybe we could get away with certain services, maybe some run-through passenger trains. Maybe we can get away with a fully automated passenger system, but the thing is, even passenger trains are going to need to uncouple and recouple and shuffle stuff around and back in and out of stations. You know, the terminals in Geiger City, it's going to be a huge deal. I'm not sure if we can do it. I know it's possible. I know it's theoretically possible. I don't know if the game can handle it. I don't think the game can handle it. And as much as I want to be wrong about that, the way that passenger service even works in trains is not even necessarily robust enough for this, because it just picks up and offloads. You know, these people don't really want to go anywhere. The idea that people are getting on and off the train is like, it doesn't impact anything. You know, there's no cargo dist, right? This is an open TTD. And that's fine, because we're just trying to make it's a game where you drive trains around, not a game where you're building a railroad empire, but I'm kind of treating it as something else. And also, this yard sucks. But if we're going to do passenger trains at all, I think that's how we're going to have to do it. All of the timers are going to have to be exactly 4 hours before those trains are supposed to leave, so that the trains sit in those bays for 4 hours, making sure that another one cannot follow it with the same timer command. And really, what we would have to break it down to is interchange passenger generation. Railroader style passenger generation would be a huge boon to this game, like huge. But you know, we don't have that natively anyway. I think that's how we're gonna have to do passenger yards. But I don't think we should have, like, unless we are automating everything. I'm not sure we should automate anything. Hi, Yankee. Um, and that isn't to say, like, I genuinely mean that. That isn't to say I genuinely don't think we should automate anything, because I want the trolley to stay automated. We know that can work. I want the trolley to stay automated. I still think we need to come back and redo it. We need to come in and make sure all of the switches and signals and interlocking towers and all that stuff is named properly. Like, all these things are just junction whatever. That's not acceptable. Having 4 trolleys that run their own little schedule automatically without any input on a line that is almost completely isolated, that's fine. That's not a problem. Um, the only contact with the outside world is this one carload of fruit, right? That has to get shuffled off, um, and then just put over here for the freight train to take. But it's doing this, that's not hard. I can accept doing that. I can make that work. I don't know how to make the passenger trains work. And this is why I'm so hesitant, because I feel like once we start digging into could I please say the name of that industry? Do I have to? Do I have to? Monkey bananas. Uh, Once I start digging into finding the new automation paradigm, where we don't do any of the freight stuff and we just sort of let that happen, we let a user deal with that in the way they want to deal with that. Um, then what do we have left? And what do we have left? What do we have, and what problems are we going to still have to solve? Because these weird interactions that are not going to happen every single time, these weird interactions, the first trains through will have to be different. And by that I mean, it's extremely difficult to get away with anything without using triggers. And triggers are not robust. Triggers work under a very specific situation and nothing else. If I have a train in this station that is waiting for another train to come through, and it will go after that train comes through because of a trigger. If that train doesn't show up for whatever reason, now we have a cascading effect that is going to get in the way of all this stuff. Now, the reason we're not automating, the reason I don't want to automate the freight anymore, one is because Living Railroad has started to figure that out. And B is because the game can't handle it. If I ask a whole bunch of locomotives to work in a whole bunch of areas of the map, the game slows down to the point where stuff starts clipping through other things and derailing. And we cannot have that. Now, the thing is, I'm not going to delete any of my hard work, really. Most of it is going to stay the same. The schedule library, I'm going to increase this stuff. I'm going to be adding more stuff. I'm going to be adding things for the beach towel special, or the different. Sorry, how come I can't scroll down? There we go. The the commuter or the express or whatever. I need to make genericized things. But I'm not getting rid of the things that I have already. I mean, all of these things. I mean, some of these have. I mean, look at that. This list of commands is so long that it doesn't even show me how many commands are in there. The Lionhead turn, which I don't even think works right yet, and OB1, those are huge lists. And the VMR trains. I mean, this one has 50 something. The commuter train, right? And we're gonna need these lists. We're gonna need these these sets of commands to keep or to adapt or whatever. It's just what I'd like to do, what I'd like to investigate, what I'd like to try to mess around with is rebuilding Tolbrand into something where even I can be messing around in Surveyor and then jump into Driver and then go back into Surveyor. And I don't even know how the game handles that. And I want to find out. So we're going to go find out. We're going to go find out. I'm going to go into my test world, and we're going to F around a little bit. And the test world is interesting because I've set up some Living Railroad AI stuff. And I want to show you all that. I know we're not doing scenery. I know I'm not making a lot of headway, but Tolbrand's going to need a lot of love. So, you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. No, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. Where's my test map? Test. Edit session. So this is my test map. And now what I'm curious about is not even I'm going to save this as, all right? I'm going to save this as test 2 just in case I really break something. And then I'm just going to go drive session. All right, it's 10 o'clock. We're here, we're looking at this locomotive. I'm going to say assign to player automatic scheduler. Why not? And if you give it a minute, it should probably actually decide on something to do. There are 3 tasks to do on this map. There's moving these cars, there's moving that one tanker car, and there's moving those 4 log cars. Those need to go all the way down there, and these other 2, they go to industries that are also down there, and they come back here. Alright, so this guy's figured out that he wants to move the tank car. I can go and grab the log cars when we are, you know, done with this, and I'm going to ignore the speed limit. I'm just going to, like, hoof it. As soon as that guy's out of the way. He's going to take a minute, but, you know, he'll get there. Now, the limitations of Lieutenant Tony's looking pretty barren, yeah. The limitations of Living Railroad are very apparent here. It just gives this engineer a series of commands that look like the first commands you ever figured out how to do, which is couple to cars, go to industry, load, go to other industry, unload, you know? That's about it. So I'm going to go get the log cars. I'm going to go at an unreasonable speed, I think. See how fast this Jeep can go. And it's showing me all of the paths here. I think I'm gonna need to go that way. Oh shoot, it can go fast. I did not expect to be going over 70 miles an hour. And so you'll notice that he's also decided to come down this way. Which he has to, that industry is over there. I don't have derailment realism set to anything, so this isn't going to be a problem, but... I don't want to go too hard through these ridiculous switches. I need to grab those log cars before, let's just gun it. Oh no, I'm speeding. Now what? Let's grab those log cars before that guy finishes his task and decides that he wants to grab the log cars next. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull them back, or maybe I'm just going to load them. And then I'm going to... yes, Mason. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. There's a red signal there. I'm going to have to get rid of that. Actually, that'll probably be the thing that I need to figure out. Oh, there goes that guy with the single oil car. I know I've said it before, but really, the amazing thing about Living Railroad is that it can recognize the industry networks. That's something that Trainz has not figured out how to do before. Oh shoot, stop. The game knows, like if I control right click on the logs, view details. Awaiting pickup of logs, right? This is new. It's Living Railroad. Awaiting pickup of logs. And then it wants to, you know, show where they're going. NP log unloader. Alright, let's go fill these cars up. Because I want to know what happens if I just go back to Surveyor. If I go back to Surveyor and then I come back to Driver, will it reset the time again? You know? And the other thing I learned is that Living Railroad, it really waits until there's, like, it waits until there's over a carload, like well over a carload, before it sort of requests anything to be sent. Which might be a problem for the way I have stuff set up on Tolbrin, but I don't really think it's going to be that much of a problem, because if you let it run for long enough, then things will kick into gear. And the industries that have sort of higher production rate or higher consumption rates are going to get down to that one, you know, that carload demand faster. Maybe I have the waybill thing set up wrong. I don't know. Everything is rough handling. I wonder if I can get it to load 3 of these cars at once. I doubt it. I don't think the industry track is long enough. Let's see. I bet that's going to be 3. No, it's just 1. It's just 1. What the hell? Alright, let me back it up. Okay, alright. Forward again. We got 2 more to go. the other thing is, another cue that one might be able to take from Railroader is the more realistic car loading of let them sit there for 6 hours or 12 hours or 24 or 48 or 72. Let the cars sit there for a while to load. They don't need to load instantly like this. All right, and I'm going to back out onto the siding here. Right now, Trainz, I'm pretty sure, only checks if something is loadable when it arrives at an industry, or unloadable. It doesn't periodically check. So if a car is sitting at an industry and you haven't touched it, say you have a carload of goods and the industry is already full of goods and it consumes goods. As it consumes goods, it's not going to take them out of the boxcar. It's just gonna, that car is gonna sit there. At least I'm fairly certain that's how it works. Oh boy, okay, this train's a lot heavier now. Have you ever heard of air brakes? Oh, we're gonna roll right through that signal, huh? That's okay, make it not rolling through a red. Oh, whoops. Push the other way a little bit. Push forward. I want to be on the other side of this signal. Line is clear for 2 blocks. Okay, but I left this sign here and I want to get rid of it. So, this guy's about to offload a tank car of diesel. If I remember right, yeah, diesel. And then he's going to take that back to over there. Then he's going to run the other set of cars, I would bet. This map is a good test bed. It's something. It's not incredible, but it's something. I threw this together in a couple of hours on stream. $38703. Consumes 97 diesel fuel, will run out and whatever. Okay. Oh right, because it consumed 97 the moment it arrived, because it was waiting. Okay. Let's just go back to Surveyor Classic for a second. Achievement tracking. Yeah. Okay. I don't care about that. And so then I can work on stuff, and I can let's say get rid of this, right? And if we look at, and this is maybe the kicker here, if we look at edit session, complete was complete. So these things are already done. This one is already done. I'm going to hit the check, and then I'm going to go back into Surveyor. I'm going to go back into Drive Session. And would you look at that, it's still 10:09. In fact, what I'm curious about, if I go back to Surveyor Classic, and then I edit, and I hit save, and I overwrite existing route and session, okay. Now, go back and edit session, and everything is back to normal. Everything is exactly back where it was. One, I didn't know that happened. Genuinely did not know that happened. I thought I could carry those changes with me in the session layer. I thought the game did not remember where that stuff came from. I never investigated that. I never investigated that. That's amazing. And you know why I had such a misguided idea of how that works? Is because of MPS. It's because of MPS. Because, of course, in MPS, everything is exactly the way it is and exactly the way it will be forever. If you drive around trains in MPS and then you jump back into Surveyor mode, those trains are wherever you left them. They're gone. But here, and just to like underscore the fact that things have... Why are you back? Oh. hold on. Take a step back. That's because I went into the original route again. That's because I went into the original route again and not the copy. So if I go into here and I hit edit session, now we will see. There it is. Okay. Alright. So it is the same as MPS. Everything is where we left it, and we can sort of carry on through. And this is sort of what I'm thinking about with Tolbrand, where if I set it up right? If I set it up right, assuming that all the commands still work with the jumping in and out of the game, we should still be able to work on stuff and occasionally still play around. And that's maybe what my goal should be right now. It should be to gut the AI, tear up the AI, such that we can drive stuff around and switch out industries and work the map in a way that allows us to continue messing around, but allow ourselves to continue building, right? And staging isn't going to be complete, and the AI for the passenger trains is going to be incomplete, and the AI for loading cars and staging and everything like that, that's all going to be incomplete. We're not going to have a functional staging yard, at least not right now. But at least we could drive around trains on the rest of the map. And if I go back into drive session, it's still 10:10. It survived that save and reload, which is honestly a better outcome than what I was expecting from the MPS thing, or from what I thought had happened. This guy's gonna go put that tank car away. And I don't know how the waybill, I don't know how it looks for stuff. I assume it looks for, you have well over a carload that you can, use. This guy right here, there's an industry right here. It's not full yet, because it was half full and the other one was empty. But that does not matter. So, alright, whatever, let's do it then, because I want to be able to dick around. Because I never play Railroader on my own, so at least I can do this. At least I can dick around on Tolbrand. Alright, back to select route, back to Tolbrand Peninsula, and you know what, if 3.30 is going to be the last one with the functional AI, then we've just got to start ripping the insulation out of the wall. Well, we've got to make a copy, and then we've got to start ripping the insulation out of the walls. The trains that are out of the main line, they can go kaputski. We just need to keep track of where all of our locomotives are going, right? So 1105 being on train 205, that's not going to be a thing anymore. We will figure the AI out later. You are just going to go away. Okay. What about Skip out here? You also just need to go away. Or maybe I should be putting these guys somewhere else. Well, no, because we can set stuff up wherever, whenever. You can also get rid of that. And this is swap out of that. Actually, you know what? We're just gonna delete the auto layer. Well, no, I don't want to do that because I don't know what's on the auto layer. This is number 1030. It's a VMR train. 1030. Delete that. And then delete this this train, this consist. Goodbye. Okay, so that's 2 of the trains that need to go. I think it was just those 2, and the passenger train over here, which I can probably leave. Just need to take the AI off of it. And Waza, which Waza can stay. Well, maybe I shouldn't keep them, though. Yeah, because I'll tell you what. Because I don't want to leave anything out on the line to deal with. Number 1. And number 2, we're going to have to set up something in staging to get these cars filled. Everything else has got to be filled in staging. So we're going to delete this, and we're also going to have to knock these locomotives off the roster, which I believe is the 900 series. And all of these are RS3s. RS3 early and RS3 late. Which these are all RS3 late. I'm just going to mark these on the spreadsheet. Bear with me for a sec. Oh, it's... Sorry. I'm getting confused with the way my spreadsheet is set up. So, yeah, okay, we're going to nuke this train as well. I should probably put some of these in the engine house. We're going to have to seed it, right? Whoa, 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 don't do that. That's what I wanted to do. We're going to have to seed it. We're going to have to set up this goods station, right? Is this set up? No, this is not set up. Okay. If it has cars staged at it, we're going to assume it's set up, but in this case, it does not have cars staged at it, so it's not set up. Everything over here in Mason Valley has cars, therefore it is set up. Obviously, that stuff doesn't count. But this place, whose name shall not be spoken, has a car at it. And so do all of these places. Which, these take in something, right? Consumes paper roll and produces general goods. Oh, it produces them out here. Okay, I get it. Those two are connected. Yeah, everywhere that has a car at it is properly set up. This place, I think, is the only place where we're going to have trouble with this. Because we need to seed this properly, and we need to have coaches here. I think I need to have, like, my physical pick list of VMR, GMRR, that sort of thing, equipment. Or even just an actual pick list, right? This locomotive... Nope. This locomotive is number 1999. That's right. Okay. 1999. I think I'm gonna make a note that this one is 199. Oh no, that's 1199. Oh my god, I've got a lot of scrolling to do. 1999. So instead of being at Mason's Landing, it's going to be at Mason Valley. Oh shoot. It's not a 442,000. It's doing the automatic formatting to me. Hold on. More formats. Plain text. 442. That's an Atlantic. And I think I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna go stick it in the engine house. And yeah, setting this up has kind of been a labor, right? It hasn't been the most fun thing in the world to try to get it to work, and I feel bad to give up on it at all. Especially considering what I'm holding right now is a passenger train, right? Um, and I think if we're gonna automate anything, we have to automate the passenger trains. Uh, but in this case, come on, game. Yeah, there we go. In this case, we're just going to have to put this guy in the roundhouse. Call it a day. The fact these doors don't open is going to irk me forever. Did I put signs inside the wall? I think I did. Hold on, map display options, signals. Yep, I put signals inside the wall. We should legalize train horns for common use. Imagine how much accidents involving oblivious drivers would drop. They'd probably skyrocket because you're gonna blow somebody's eardrums out and then they're gonna crash their car. You can't understate how much startling somebody on the road is bad. Like sneezing alone, being behind the wheel of a car, sneezing alone is terrifying. Okay. So that guy's in there. Now we need to... Are there any other locomotives that currently have AI, other than the stuff in staging? And the stuff in staging, I'm probably going to disable... yeah, because I'm not gonna keep them. And they're relatively simple. Edit session, schedule at track mark. Other than for the MVTC, I probably need to ditch all of the schedule at track mark stuff. And like, yeah, this is not great to have to get rid of. But we're gonna have to redo staging anyway. And it's all gonna look very similar. Except it's gonna have 4-hour waits on it. So Scioto Valley, this is just for the... Oh, that's for that. Okay, yeah, that's not great. We're going to need to get rid of that, too. Olive... I don't want to get rid of this because figuring out how to do this was a real problem. But, whatever. Oh well, roundhouse. Yeah, and setting the turntable is such a royal pain in the neck. I don't want to get rid of these schedule at track marks, but... Oh god, Orion. Save often. Set yourself a timer in the future, get a little egg timer for like 30-minute intervals and save. Trainz is not friendly. Not friendly enough to not have autosave. But actually, I bet you can probably turn that on. Table startup options. I think instead of startup options, I want quick drive. I saved every 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, then you should have 15 to 20 minutes of thing. I don't know. I don't know how you lost 6 hours if you were saving that frequently. Unless you lost the whole file. Which in that case, I guess the lesson is save to multiple files. Have three rolling saves. Or, you know, just make a new file every time. None. Okay, so this works. This. I was suspicious of the other one, but yeah, I mean, honestly, the stuff that I'm getting rid of here is more tedium than anything, and like most of it's not going to be relevant anymore. So I'm going to delete schedule at track mark. Yep, delete schedule at track mark, and then delete schedule at track mark for this too. So that really, okay, aside from the driver setup, right, which I only want these. 914, okay, remove you. You are passenger trains. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. 64. Oh, and 1105, yeah, remove. 1030, remove. Remove that. Although, let's just swap you to that. Remove that. Any of these that don't have... Thought I saw one up here too. I wish I could sort them, because goodness gracious. Remove all existing drivers first. Generate new drivers for empty trains. Wait for schedule completion. Remove all existing drivers for... Oh, okay, as in purge all the drivers and then add these. Yeah, that's loading topography is via Trainz dem. That's a very, very cool program. Camera on first driver. Remove all existing drivers first. The rule will not be complete until all schedules started here are complete. We're going to need to rename all these locomotives too. Oh, and yeah, generate new... Okay, new drivers will be generated for all empty trains. So the only thing we need to worry about is... Oh, shoot! Hey, Virgo! You're going to be able to convene in March looking to visit the WWF. That's awesome. Keep me posted, and I'll try to make it there when you are there. Check on their schedule when the time gets closer. March is a little early, but they kind of do stuff all year round now, so there isn't really a lull season for them. They're always doing something. If not, I'll head up there and we'll make a track day out of it anyway. Ever hammered a spike? It's fun. VMR 64. What are you? Where are you? Guanatara River, all of track 1, unload, load. You're heading down. You are heading down. Okay, hold on. Save that. Yeah, definitely check the website when it gets closer regarding what everyone's gonna be up to. 64. 64. Is that one of the... Is that these guys who leave and then run up and then come back down? Yeah, it is. Okay, it is. So I need to take the schedule out of these guys too. At least for now. I mean, that's kind of the problem. Edit session, driver setup. 914. Yeah, okay. Remove you. Remove those. Hey, wait a minute. Can I just do this? I guess I had canceled, didn't I? Remove you. Remove you. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. And let's do that again. You notice there was that trigger there. It was waiting for a train. If I changed something else around, it would not have worked. And, I mean, the thing is, things will still need custom schedules to get the ball rolling. There should be a button to delete all, like, locomotive-less drivers. That would be nice. Remove that. Remove that. Okay, wait for schedule completion. Generate new drivers for empty trains. I mean, do we need that, though? I feel like I should remove these for every locomotive that doesn't have an official number. You know, like GR 1594, that's fine, but Loco PR H9 consolidation, blah, 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 that's not fine. Save changes. Save that. It's called place of employment soon. I want to better my situation. I was looking to get into Walmart. They're slow, be a pest, and call every day. Honestly, true. You can't really go wrong with being very forward to a potential employer about wanting a job. And being a bit of a pest. Make them tell you no. Okay, so let's go in here. And every locomotive in here should have... Where's that consolidation? That consolidation is somewhere else. You are 28. You are 685. And you are 2015. There should be... Okay, there is another locomotive in here, yep. 2023. And there are locomotives in here, too, that are also numbered. Yeah, I mean, I think everything that doesn't have a thing, I should just get rid of the drivers on. Because I think I should be able to make new drivers, like, in session. Edit session. Driver setup, edit. Anything that doesn't have a label is not really in the map. It's probably in staging, and it needs to get... Like, we don't need a driver for it. So remove you. GR80 number 131. Is that the one in the thing? I'm going to need to check on that. Remove you. Remove you. Actually, hold on. I can check in the assets and timetables list. I can look under GERR. The 080s are 130 to 139. If I go into locomotive roster and I go up to 130, which let's just vigorously scroll as fast as we can up to 130. Oh wait, no, I can shift up, control up. There we go. 130. Yeah, okay. You're not listed. I didn't mark you down. I'm gonna have to check on that one then. A lot of these are in staging. Remove. C48 black cylinder. Yeah, no, we can figure that out later. I do need to set that up. Remove. Remove. And I know what that one is, but it's not labeled, so it's not getting a driver. Remove. Remove. Okay. Some of these are definitely just chilling and staging, just like being a physical pick list. A lot of what I'm removing right now is all of the locomotives over over there. Okay. So we need to go around and figure out where stuff is in rosters then. I got my route back. Oh, okay. Good. A few Steam engines, a couple SD60s, change the sound files on. Okay. So everything here is labeled. All three of those, all three of these. We could add some more stuff. In fact, I probably should. I'm gonna add a I'm gonna add a couple of diesels out here. I'll add a couple of RS3s for if you want to run a diesel-powered road train. You get these guys here. Although these should be on the seed layer. Let's not forget that. All of this stuff out here should be on the seed layer. Everything in staging, maybe not so much, but I'm gonna guess this is on the auto layer. No, it is on seed. Okay, so it's chilling here. I think the only stuff on the auto layer was the stuff out on the main line. All this stuff should be on the seed layer. Even if these guys start on top of track marks. Like I know this guy does, right? Oh, geez, he's just on the route layer. Seed, save changes. Okay, you're on seed. You're on seed. Something I need to do is figure out the numbering scheme for the Mansfield Branch Railroad. Those guys down there are all numbered, so you should be on the seed layer. Seed. This guy. Seed. This guy. Okay, yeah. Since this dude is on seed, I'm going to assume that everybody else is going to be on seed except for maybe the stuff out here, which might just be on the route layer because of sloppiness. Oh, well, not you. You. No, not... Yes, you? Yeah, you're included in this. This thing is on seed. That's on seed. Okay, no, these should be on auto or something. No, they're all on seed. Alright. Well, whatever. We're gonna have to get rid of this anyway. We're gonna have to do staging, like, from whole cloth, we need to redo staging. And it should probably wrap around this way. Where can I find the assets to make a route feel like a model railroad? Ooh, that's a good question. I know there are some things on the DLS, but I'm so not versed in that. Model railroad stuff is not my forte in the slightest. But Jointed Rail might have some, yeah, it's a good question. I think a lot of the model railroad stuff is on the DLS, honestly. Like the big walls and the dig holes and stuff like that. And all this stuff should be on seed. We need to go and figure out some other locomotives. Okay, so this guy, this NW2, this is on seed, but it doesn't have a number. The other NW2 is, I don't know. It's in here somewhere. Let's see. That's 2200 to 2209. So I have to scroll all the way down again. I wish I could just go down faster than this. 2200 to 2209. Oh, it's even further down. I don't even have it, like, I don't even have it marked off in the locomotive roster. That's how incomplete this is. And this is NW2. No, not NW3, NW4, and NW5. No. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. Okay. One of these is over there. The other one is over here. Now, this NW2, so we can open two things at once, so I'm going to use the power of opening two things at once. Doing this will let me get closer to using this as an iPortal route. Yippee. Come on, load up the NW2. I know it's over here. I can't click on it until it appears. There it is. This is 2203. This is an olive. And then if I roll the dice on, let's see, I need a random number generator. Between 2 and 10, this is going to be, I guess, 2200. Save changes, save changes. And you, okay, 291. That's good. That's actually properly labeled. It's in Mason Valley. Or, this is not Mason Valley. This is Mason's Landing. And then we go in here, and this, yeah, okay. We'll just call this 130, which is also not on the list, I don't think. Yeah, so this one is in Mason Valley. Okay. So we've got those two there. We've seeded the route a little bit. The next thing to do would be figure out these locomotives here, but I'm not completely sold on this this arrangement necessarily. Well, I'm mostly sold on this arrangement. But some of these would not be here. We just need to figure out what everything is, because we've got, what are this? So we've got an 060, we've got a 10-wheeler and another 10-wheeler, and these things are all not, these, like, there's no class here. There are no two of the same, except for these two. So we just need to figure out numbers for them. I think this one is, I think we'll just keep with the numbers on the side, but if this is MBRR, you know, 1000, for example, we'll say it's 1000, even though it's 1900 on the side. This should be locomotive like number 3 or something, MBRR 3. And then we'll make this one MBRR 5. And also, we can set the running number on this to 5. Doesn't seem to make a difference. This is 3, and I don't have a way to change the... Oh, I can change the number. What is change it to 3? Save changes. Okay, that looks goofy, so maybe we should just do it as, What if I set it to 3 space space? No, that doesn't work. I'm trying to scooch it over. I'll keep it on 100. As for this one... Wait, I do have to set this to be... And that's 5. These two should probably be like 102 and 103. Okay, 104. Change that to 104. Change this to 102. This one is just saying 45 to me. Yara 45, set the running number to 45. Oh, okay, that's not great. I hate it when... We're getting railroaded here because the numbers don't want to center themselves. So... 1045. Oh, and I need to set the auto running number to 1045. Save changes. And these guys, I really wanted to have consecutive numbers, but they're not going to let us do that, are they? Because despite the fact that they are basically identical, the boards are set up. What's with the turntable without a pit surrounding it and just a retaining wall? It's easier to build that way. Seriously, it's easier to build that way. You work with the terrain. The roundhouse is sort of up on a hill, and then the land comes down, so the roundhouse points at the dip in the like the natural dip in the land. They just put the turntable there so they didn't have to dig a pit. MBRR. What if I write 16? I wanted this to be 16. Yeah, no, I hate the way that looks. Although the fact that it like marks out that first one is really interesting. I just wish it would center them. But I understand that that's probably difficult. I wanted these to be 16 and 17. But they're deciding to be goofy. I want to just like sequentially number them, but MBRR 2000. And that one doesn't change. And then this one is a 3-digit number. Oh, let's see if these guys, if the 10-wheelers were 102 and 104, well, this should obviously be 113. And then you You're a heavy 282. 16, 17, and I'll make this 18. It's going to look goofy, but we'll just call it what it is. Is it an M64? That's a good question. I don't think so. Might be. It's a light. It's a DNRGW light mountain. That's a USRA light mountain. I don't know if that's an M64. I don't think it is. I thought the M64s were bigger. I didn't think those were the USRA ones, but they might be. It may be, yeah. Couldn't tell you one way or the other. You'd have to ask someone who really knows the Grand. And we're just going to stuff every single one of these in the roundhouse here. And the engine shop, or shop building, or whatever you want to call it. I can't help but notice that the floor is not textured. I'm going to need to fix that. What about this? What about this texture right here? This is a DLS texture. I don't know about that. No, I should just use like a black. Hold on. Black texture. You can see the edge of the line there. Come on. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. Hi, Mew. You missed me numbering all these locomotives. And I've already forgotten which, like, what's what. So, it's okay, you didn't miss much. Some of these are properly labeled and some of them are not. Some of them will take time. But the thing is, the fact that they are properly labeled means I can give them AI. This one is 113. I can actually set that on the tender too. It does show up. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. It's some kind of light Pacific. Alright, I'm also going to fill in this bottom here. Oh wait, you know what? Let me, yeah. Okay. I'm just making these black because obviously I cannot add depth to them like I should. So this is the closest I can get. I'm going to get away with just painting it black. And then thankfully it doesn't matter if my paint goes a little bit outside the bounds of the roundhouse because there's stuff around it. Alright, let's bring the locomotives back. And nobody's sticking out the end of the roundhouse, which is nice. I think I'm actually going to extend these tracks slightly. Mostly because I can. And then I want to add yeah. I want to extend those as well, just a little bit, just in case. And then what I want to do is add some kind of buffer on them. I don't know what kind. These are just like end of the thing tracks, so probably just like a tie laying across the track, which I know I have somewhere. Can't remember where. Can't remember where I used it, but I should have one. I did use it somewhere recently for the magic mic. Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's a good one. Okay, here I just used invisible buffers, which I'm gonna start using these more because, yeah, because they exist. I'm just gonna plop them right here outside of the stalls, and then I'll push them right up to the wall. I did some playing around with the AI. I was mostly checking to see how the game responds. I was checking to see how the game responds when you're like fiddling around and you go into driver and then you drive around and then you save and exit. And I wasn't sure if that would I wasn't sure if that would actually, like, if the stuff that you did there would save. I was cautious because I thought it might, but I had never confirmed it one way or the other. Where did I put? I swear I found an oily tie as an end of track. Oh, let's get rid of that. Let's put this instead. All right, we're still in seed, aren't we? That means I gotta replace all those other. Damn it. Hold on. These have to be on the route layer. So let's go back and fix it at the roundhouse, and I found what I'm looking for here. Because in a situation where the stopping the train would be sort of readily apparent, um, then we don't need a visible buffer, but we still need something that'll give the red signal to the AI. Okay, route layer. And no, the reason the buffer stop is way after the the reason the buffer stop is way after the road there is because you need all that space. In order to back a car into this siding here, you need to come out onto the road, at least to some degree. So I'm putting the stop as far back as I can without it being past the actual end of track. At least I'm pretty sure. I haven't been able to drive that yet. I'm just gonna put these guys over here, and I'm gonna need to mark down what's what eventually. But the Mikados are 16, 17, 15, 16, and 17. The 10-wheelers are 102 and 104. This guy is 1045. And the 060 is number 5. The other one is 100. And this guy is 1000. So that's that. Now we can use this if we want to. Unfortunately, none of the industries in this town are programmed, so it doesn't really matter. It's an annoying looking industry indeed. When the branch line was complete one end to the other, then it wasn't so annoying, but it's about time to wrap up. But I'd like to thank everyone for coming on today, and hopefully we will be resuming our regular schedule going forward. Remember, folks, be good to one another. This is the Admiral.